Yeah, hello and welcome to another update video about Fantom. Fantom, a chart also that I really like because it did exactly what the wave count suggests, and therefore we can also anticipate quite well, I think, the next moves, because the price seems to be aligned to the Elliott wave count here. So we talked about that wave A when we were coming down, talked about the wave B, talked about the target area here for profit taking. I think that was really good. In the end we did overshoot it a little bit, but that's fine. And we then came down as expected here and hit the target area here, starting below the low of wave A, pretty much at $1.13, I think that was. And we touched the target area. Yeah, it goes down to the 88.7% fib level. We never reached, so far at least, not the 87 cent level. That would have been the next target here, the 78.6% fib level. But what is so important about these target areas, that as soon as they are reached, the price has a chance to turn around, and so far we have seen that. And yeah, Fantom is continuing to climb, actually quite impressive, while the whole market is down a little bit. We can actually see that Fantom is doing well, 5% upside today, around $1.50. So far continues to run along this ascending trend line that I put on the chart in the last video. It, for me, doesn't look that impulsive, I must say that, yeah. So there is very little structure in this current move up. Therefore, I'm not convinced that we have seen the low yet. I think primarily we can still expect another drop for Fantom. I have to say that very clearly. But at the moment, and also, yeah, on top of that, we are currently approaching here a resistance level here, which is at 155, which is the 50-day moving average. Well, let me just check. Yeah, it's the 50-day moving average. So we're just approaching resistance and currently struggle a little bit to get through it. So you can see that the price is getting squeezed between that ascending trend line here in yellow, yeah, basically just a trend line, and that 50-day moving average coming down. So there will be a decision point here. We can just extend that 50-day moving average, and we get an understanding of when we need to see here a decision, and that is very shortly. That will happen probably tomorrow at the latest, because you can't, the price has to make a decision where it's going to move. Will it move higher on this ascending trend line, or is it going to be pushed lower by the 50-day moving average? And that is a decision that the price needs to make. Personally, before buying any further positions, I would personally want to wait how the market decides. Does it break above the 50-day moving average, or does it break below that ascending trend line? If we break below that ascending trend line, I think we can see quite a bit of a drop. And where are we then going to land? Well, the next logical target would again be that 113 level here. That was the last major support, and we can also add the VPVR to this chart to get an understanding. And I mean, we see that the first initial peak would be here around 143. That is certainly an area of trade before. We're now at 150, so that is providing important support. And then you can see here that probably the next little peak is down here. Yeah, it is around 113. I mean, this whole area here is providing support, to be honest. But yeah, one peak will be down here just above this target area again, so around 118, you could say. Yeah. Generally, in my opinion, as you can see here, what we normally want to see is a breakout above a recent above a recent high, swing high. And I think in the last video my target was 150. Now that was reached, as you can see here. We reached that 143 probably. That was that red line that is here on the chart is 143. That was that previous swing high. It was obviously broken. That might be a reason why the price is currently holding fairly well, because it did break above a recent very important resistance level it has established above that, now flipped it for support, and that makes it harder for the price to drop again. We also need to acknowledge that Fantom was a little bit late in the correction. Yeah, it only had its peak back in January. Since then, obviously, came down into the target area and has recently started to move up, but was very late in the correction, and therefore it was more oversold than other cryptocurrencies, and therefore it could really be that this is the reason why Fantom is currently holding up quite well. Yeah, and if we take a look on the daily chart and take a look at the indicators, that might give us an indication of where we might be heading. But what I can tell you is that at some point here you're gonna see a move down, but that is exactly what I just said here on the RSI. we are, despite the increases, price increases, we're only at 55. Now that is far away from being overbought. While Bitcoin was overbought and a lot of other cryptos like VeChain, for example, were also overbought and they now see a dip. Fantom wasn't, but nevertheless you can now see here on the daily the MACD is already starting to turn down as well and to reduce buying momentum. It has gained it again with today's candle, and that, yeah, I mean, that adds basically to the view here that the RSI is far away from overbought. So there is currently no need for a correction, yeah. While, for example, other cryptos, as I said, like VeChain, Bitcoin, and I've mentioned that, and even I think Cardano was overbought as well. I must double check, but these had to have at some point a retracement, and Fantom doesn't really need it yet because it's not yet overbought, at least not on the daily. We can check the 8-hour chart, which is also quite meaningful, and also here, no, it was not overbought, not overbought yet at all, slightly below the overbought range. So yeah, all of that quite interesting because it was, I think, quite late, and it has also, the way it moved up was quite steadily here, not too fast. Basically, yeah, quite interesting actually. But that is what we talked about when we dropped down here, that, yeah, in my opinion, Fantom isn't dead. Again, sentiment down here said, again, Fantom is dead. A lot of people said Fantom is now a dead coin, but it has moved up quite substantially since the low from here around $1, has moved up now as well, roughly 50%. And it's holding fairly well now today that Bitcoin is struggling. Okay, so we're just at this decision point here, so we just have to wait how the market decides. As I said, I gave you the support level. Should we drop below that trend line? What will be the next key resistance level if we move higher? I think if we drop or if we break above that 50-day moving average, I think you can expect the price to move logically to the $2 level nearly. That is the 200-day moving average here as well. And we had a lot of trading around the $2 area. So that will be the next major resistance in my point of view. Okay, that's my view on Fantom. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.